On December 18, 2023, the United States launched Operation Prosperity Guardian. The operation was started with the intent of securing the sea lanes of the Red Sea that had come under fire by Houthi militants based in Yemen. While I covered the timeline of the attacks at the time in an earlier video, there have been some significant developments since then. Some directly related to the operations in the Red Sea, and some continued spillover from the Israel-Hamas war. Since December 18th, US and Allied ships have continued to intercept drones and missiles fired from Yemen. As of January 5th, US and Allied forces have intercepted a grand total of 60 drones, 6 anti-ship ballistic missiles, and 6 land attack cruise missiles. The USS Carney has made the most intercepts of any single vessel, accounting for just over half of the total. Of course, not every projectile has been able to be stopped. Since December 18th, there's been 5 notable incidents. On December 23rd, a one-way drone narrowly missed a Norwegian oil tanker, and another drone successfully struck a Gabon-flagged tanker with no injuries or significant damage reported. Also on the 23rd, a Liberian-flagged tanker was struck by a one-way drone as well, but this was different from the others. The ship was approximately 200 miles from the coast of India, not in the Red Sea. The US accused Iran of firing the drone from their territory. This was, of course, denied by Iran. There were no casualties, but the damage sustained did knock out power to the vessel. The Indian Navy responded to assist. Finally, on December 26, a Liberian-flagged container ship was also narrowly missed by several missiles fired in its direction. The most significant incident occurred on December 31st when the container ship Maersk Hangzhou came under attack. The ship had been struck on December 30th by a missile with no casualties or significant damage. The following day, the ship issued a distress call. The ship was under attack by 4 small Houthi attack boats. The Maersk Hangzhou had a private security team on board that began to defend the ship while taking fire. The distress call was answered by the aircraft carrier USS Eisenhower and the destroyer USS Gravely that launched helicopters to respond. Upon arrival of the American helicopters, the Houthi boats opened fire, prompting a response. While the details are vague on the skirmish, the result was the sinking of 3 of the Houthi vessels and the death of 10 Houthi fighters. The result, at least casualty-wise, was confirmed by the Houthis, who issued a martyrdom announcement for their fighters that were killed. The U.S. suffered no losses or equipment damage in the skirmish. In the days since, the U.S. has continued to intercept munitions fired from Yemen. While the attack was a failure by the Houthis, it did serve as a strategic victory since Maersk once again suspended all shipments through the Red Sea. On January 3rd, the United States, along with 12 allied partners, issued a joint statement warning the Houthis to stop their attacks against shipping, threatening that the Houthis will bear the responsibility of the consequences should they continue to threaten lives, the global economy, and free flow of commerce in the region's critical waterways. This did not, however, stop any Houthi attacks, as an unmanned surface vessel detonated within visual range of a U.S. vessel. As of the making of this video, there has been no retaliation inside Yemen by the United States. Another notable incident occurred on January 5th. The Liberian-flagged bulk carrier MV Leila Norfolk was reportedly hijacked off the coast of Somalia by 5 to 6 assailants. The ship had a crew of 21, 15 of which were citizens of India. The hijacking is believed to have been carried out by Somali pirates, not the Houthis. The Indian destroyer INS Chennai responded to the hijacking and moved to the area to secure the ship. A warning was issued to the hijackers before a team of Indian Marine Commandos, or Marcos, boarded the vessel, as you can see in this footage released by the Indian Navy. Once on board, no hijackers were found, and the 21-man crew was secured unharmed. The hijackers are believed to have left the ship after being warned of the Indian Navy response. In addition to these developments, the aircraft carrier USS Gerald Ford and its associated escorts were withdrawn from the Mediterranean and heading back to the US for the end of its deployment. The strike group's deployment was extended due to the Israel-Hamas war when it was deployed to the eastern Mediterranean as a deterrent to any continued escalation. The decision to withdraw the strike group was criticized by Israel, but with the deployment already overdue, it was probably time to bring these boys home. In addition to the Ford strike group, the USS Thomas Hudner also returned home to the United States on January 4th after an 8-month deployment that saw it intercept 5 Houthi drones in the Red Sea. Some more notable naval news that I wanted to cover is looking at current ship deployments in the region. Here, you can see all known combat vessels in the region. The first thing I'd like to point out is these 2 Iranian ships in the southern Red Sea near the Eisenhower carrier strike group. It was reported in the media that the frigate IRIS Alborz had just entered the Red Sea recently. According to Vice Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of all U.S. naval forces in the region, the frigate had been there for 55 days as part of anti-piracy operations that have been ongoing for several years. The ships are not a new addition, nor are they related to the ongoing war. I also wanted to point out that the USS Carney is currently in Bahrain. As I had stated earlier, the destroyer had intercepted a total of 37 drones and missiles fired by the Houthis. That would have required a minimum of 37 surface-to-air missiles in order to intercept those targets. The Carney has a total of 90 vertical launch cells that can be used for surface-to-air missiles or ground-to-ground weapons like Tomahawks. So, the Carney is likely resupplying after expending a significant portion of its missile payload. While there is a lot going on in the world these last few weeks, I wanted to keep this video focused on the Red Sea and the immediate area. Now, I may try to cover some of the other theaters of operation in more detail later, but as quickly as things have been changing, it's hard to say what each day will bring. So in the meantime, I do want to give a huge shout out to Intel Shizzo on Twitter for the graphics and keeping up with all the rapid fire news updates. Be sure to go give them a follow to support their work. Also, I now have a Twitter as well, so find me at Today's History 13 and give me a follow as well. Now, I'm not quite sure the direction I'm going to take things there yet, but it will allow me to retweet sources that I use for my videos like this one. So with that being said, I'll see you on the next one.